Senator King. Senator Scott.
Sure. First off, Undersecretary Colby, thank you for being here. I want to thank President Trump for his decisive leadership in Operation Epic Fury. The President and Secretary Hegseth have clear objectives to ensure Iran never has a nuclear weapon, and this evil regime is no longer able to terrorize and target the American people and our great ally, Israel. We have known for decades that the only way to deal with Iran is to totally destroy this evil regime, and President Trump is doing it. I also want to take this opportunity to talk about the incredible men and women in our military who answer the call to serve each and every day. They represent the best of what it means to be an American, sign up for a cause greater than themselves to serve their country and stand for our freedoms. And unfortunately, as we saw over the past few days, answering the call to serve can come with great sacrifice. For that, we can never repay them. Our heart goes out to their families, and I ask every American to keep their loved ones in your prayers. I've now been in the Senate for a little over 7 years, and in that time I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world to meet with our servicemen and women, diplomats, foreign leaders to foster American business, prioritize national security interests, and grow relationships with our allies. Everywhere I go, I hear great things about President Trump's leadership on the world stage and the incredible support he's received from Secretary Rubio and Secretary Hegseth in advancing his peace through strength agenda. Our allies respect us and our adversaries fear us. Countries have shifted their views on national security because they now know that under this administration, standing with the United States is beneficial to our mutual security. In my recent visits to both the Indo-Pacific and Northern and Eastern Europe, I witnessed this firsthand as countries are siding with us against our enemies, investing in our economy, and most importantly, buying American weapons. I tell every government official I meet with in my office or overseas, be like Israel, Baltics, Poland, do everything you can for yourself, and then ask where your need is and what you need us to do. And many of our allies who traditionally failed to do so are starting to do just that because they know that while President Trump will hold our friends accountable to step up to the plate and do their fair share, he will never abandon them. Secretary Rubio said it perfectly in his speech at the Munich Security Conference. The President is succeeding and will continue to succeed because he believes the entire world is important to the United States and for our security and prosperity. He understands that the United States and Europe are inseparable because of our common values and civilization. And the President reaffirmed it in his remarks on Iran when he outlined the threats that the regime having nuclear weapon would have on the U.S. and our very good friends and our allies in Europe. The President clearly understands we have enemies around the world. The governments of Communist China, Iran, Russia, North Korea. They chose to be our enemies, and they are most definitely not focused just on the region they live in. They don't change their actions simply because we try to be nice to them or try to ignore them. That didn't work for President Obama, didn't work for President Biden. It only makes our enemies bolder and more aggressive toward us and our allies. President Trump proved he is not what his critics say he is when he comes to foreign policy and military matters. He is not a reckless warmonger, nor is he an isolationist. He is someone who understands that nowhere on the planet can we say whatever happens there is not our business. Instead, he knows our world is a safer place when our enemies wake up every day, scared to death about what we might do to them, and knowing that miscalculations on their part will not go unanswered. Just ask Iran and Venezuela. Back to my travels. As I learned about in conversations with our allies in Europe and the Indo-Pacific, there is a problem. Allies tell us they want to train with us, but the Department of War ignores these requests and tells them they are too small and insignificant. Allies tell us they want to buy weapons from us, and that is what the President wants, but some of our allies have told us that the Department of War that they may not buy them, resulting in frustration not at the President, but at the failures of the process that won't let them buy the weapons we told them to buy in the first place. They've gone to other countries to buy weapons. The President and his national security team have sent a clear message to our partners and allies. Step up. Do your fair share. And the United States will too be selling you the best American-made weapons and training so you can use them. However, it seems our allies are getting a mixed message when they come to the department to work together and buy weapons. Under Secretary Colby, what do you recommend those of us on this committee say to our allies who are aligned with President Trump and ready to do their part but are left confused when the process fails them?
Well, thanks, Senator. Just to answer your question on training, I think this should be is actually a priority for Secretary Hegseth on things like 127 Echo. So I think that should be something where there should be a lot of receptivity. And if allies are not getting that message, obviously they're welcome to look me up. And then on weapons, sir, this is something that really has our top attention, and we were just talking about it with the National Mobilization and Defense Industrial Base. There's also been a process overhaul. One of the things we've done, and I'm a big advocate of this, looking at the clock, is pushing the FMS process and consolidating it under Undersecretary Duffy, because then it's the acquisition people, the industrial relations people who have the whole stack, as they say. And obviously, we have a role in policy from a strategic point of view, but ultimately, this stuff is, I call it an Excel problem rather than a word problem. I believe FMS sales demand have quadrupled since 2021. So there's just a massive scale issue. And of course, our own services are also in line. So this is something I think we all just really want to attack this problem. And fortunately, we've got Deputy Secretary Feinberg is really amazing on this.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Peters.